Hello everyone, hope everybody is doing fantastic. Heavenly and I are home in our quarantine process. She was exposed at daycare to COVID and got sick first, and then she got me sick and I tested positive, and so we're all taking a field trip to urgent care today to just get all of our official testing and all that stuff out of the way. Slowly every day the symptoms are subsiding. It's a process. Whew, it has been rough. Like, and for Heavenly, rough, but she's now, her little playful self. But this last phase of like the diarrhea and that kind of thing, we threw away like 3 sets of pajamas, 2 sheets. It has been, yesterday it just happened like 3 times, and I was like, so I was joking with one of my friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, I literally sound like one of the ladies that work at JR Tobacco in Smithfield, North Carolina today, like for real. That are in the cigar section, like my throat, my voice, all of it. I sound so terrible, but we're getting there. Heavenly, come here. She's coming. I want you guys to see her. Come here, mamas. Come here, mamas. Come here, mamas. Don't do that to me, mamas. Here we go. Say hi. Say, I'm sick, but I get better. I'm sick, but I get better. Mamas, turn around. Stop being shy. Say hi. Hi, everybody. I'm COVID sick, but I get better with time. It is just gonna take a little time, but I'm still happy and joyful. Right, mamas? You are? It's hard to breathe? Huh? Huh? Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss, mamas. Mwah. Thank you, baby. I love you. Hi. Okay, mama, you gonna go play? You gonna play? She wants to get down. So, I wanted to share today, Alexa, turn the music down. I wanted to share today, how the thought of R&R Spa even occurred to me. What happened? Alexa, switch to the next song. I know it's a little loud. I'm like real chill, I'm sick. Just trying to like make it easy. So I remember I went to a legal assistant retreat, and this was before Jonathan, probably like 2007, 8, and we traveled to Pinehurst. I stayed at the Pinehurst resort, golf resort and spa there, and I had a massage there. And I remember after the massage, I was in another place, like literally transported to another side of life. I was just in my ultimate state of relaxation, and I opened my eyes slowly. The person that worked on me said, take your time getting up. They had a nice pool middle area, and separate rooms like with jacuzzis, just to kind of relax after the service. I wanted to stay and get another service, but to be frank, at that time, I couldn't afford it. And I just remember telling myself, I was like, man, like internally, I didn't even use words. It was just my soul speaking. And I was like, this is it. Like, this is where I want to work. This is what I want to give. And this is the environment I want to create for others and for myself to work in all the time. Like, this is what I want to do. And somebody that struggles with anxiety and is still in that process, I think things happen, and things can trigger you to get back into places with mental health. We just have to be like completely cognizant of what environments we're placing ourselves in, those of us that have any medical things that can be triggered and stuff like that. And so I was like, for my health, I had never been at that point diagnosed with anxiety, but my soul and my heart and my mind was in one accord, and I felt like it helped me balance out, that self-care, self-love that I received from that professional assisted me in, feeling clarity. And I was like, this is what I want to give. I've got to share this. This is such a big secret. I've got to share this with other people. And I went home and I took out a notebook and I began to write and draw. Drew out the entire spa, everything I've always dreamt of, how I've always wanted it to be. The name R&R Spa, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, like, where does R&R come from? Is it Ruby and someone else? Like, where is that? I was like, no, it has nothing to do with my name. Even though it starts with an R. And I remember my first landlord's first name started with an R as well. So I was like, but that's not where it came from. It literally came from R&R being rest and relaxation, because that's what I wanted to provide within services. And ironically, when I was doing research on the name, I literally wrote this down, put it in paper. I'm gonna take a picture of of the whole thing. I still have it to this day and everything. I was like, oh, R&R is a military term. Like, so when I Googled it, it's a military term that they came out with, for military, that had gone war and, were facing stress and depression and anxiety and all of these things. And they would tell each other, I just need some R&R, like, to relax and just to get out, and they would sometimes, partying or like, substance, abuse could be an issue too, like drinking a lot of alcohol and that kind of thing. But they just use that to like decompress from their environment. And that's really where the term R&R came from, or the initials R&R. And I was like, okay, cool, because that's exactly what I envisioned to give in a healthy way, And now I'm like, wait, I live in a military town. I'm opening R&R Spa in a military town now. I would have never, ever, ever imagined to open an office, R&R Spa, in a military base town, like in the city where a base is, one of the largest bases located here in Onslow County, Jacksonville, North Carolina, Camp Lejeune. Like, really? I'm like, wait, God, is it coming full circle? I am supposed to be here. R&R Spa is supposed to be here. My partner at the time is a Marine and brought me to this side of North Carolina, or moved here and bought a house and asked me to come with my children, and that's how I got here. Through a man in the military, of course, how else? You know, like, I don't know. A lot of things, it's like when I connect the dots, ironically, like, it just blows my mind the way God does things. And I actually went to, the house he bought was in Richlands, and after a little while we went our separate ways, and I ended up finding a place here in Jacksonville. Like, I was looking all over Richlands, and military personnel were beating me to the punch on, you know, getting a property for rent. And because obviously I have a spa income, and I went through a pandemic, so my business closed, and they have the government paying for their rent. And let's just be real, if you are a landlord and you have to pick, like, you know, so I was like, oh, like, I need a place. And I couldn't find it in that small town because they were beating me. I was this close once. I literally was like literally this close, and like, I'm sorry. So it's okay. Like, the opportunity here in Jacksonville to have this 3-bedroom apartment, 2-bath opened up in Jacksonville, which is like 20 minutes from Richlands, which is where the base is. And I remember coming here for shopping once or twice. Like, I came here often because the bigger stores here, the city is here, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, this town is cool. It's growing and there's things here. And then I was just like, oh, this is the busy part, you know? Like, I had the whole time I had been like in the country part in Richlands, and so I hadn't seen like the busy part. And I remember going to like this grocery store here, the large grocery store here, and there was something in the air. I was very connected. I'm very connected spiritually to God, and I have a gift that he has given me of discernment. And some people call that being an empath, vibes, whatever. It's all the same thing. It's like a spiritual discernment, to pick up on the atmosphere of a person or a place, or circumstance. Like, it's in the atmosphere. It's energetic. It's spiritual. It's all of it. So we are spiritual soul beings, and so that is a gift in the Bible called discernment. And I remember feeling this heaviness of sadness in this town. I felt like I was taken back. I was like, oh my God, there is a lot of depression here. Oh God, like, I literally, it was everywhere. I looked around, I was like, oh my God, people are on autopilot here. You know, they're working to get things done, but their spirits, they're holding by a thread, like, to keep that peace. And I was just like, just want to be careful, you know, because sometimes where you are, those energies and stuff like that can rub off on you. Spirits can rub off on you. You open a door and they can enter. And then all of a sudden you start to manifest your environment and feel that. And so there's got to be a real protect your peace, mind, heart, and spirit. And if you're a person of light, that, you know, God uses to bring light to others, you have to even be more cognizant of, you know, your environment, because there's always going to be challenges and things of, you know, that will happen for someone to, you know, something, anything, a circumstance to dim that light in you. But continue to be grounded and connected to God, to continue to allow that fire to keep burning. And when you are in this place, Heavenly has decided to turn off the lighting. You know, God is so great and merciful, because he sends his army to come and support you and help you in your transition. I remember finding a church prior to leaving the home I was in, and walking in, and the pastor said, "You're a believer, right?" And I was like, "Yes." And he's like, "Well, this was for you. You were supposed to be here." And just gave me an amazing word and gave me this an oil of anointing with it's called joy, that has the label joy on it. And just became like, you know, we sat down and we met, and, you know, I shared my story and how why am I even here, you know, and I don't know anyone here, you know. And his congregation and his church, Love, Grace, and Mercy, the name sold me. Non-denominational, fantastic church in Richmond, North Carolina, Pastor Brian Young. They were so full of love and compassion and empathy and grace. It had been so long since I have found a group of people that actually live and breathe this thing. And they helped me in the move. They stored my things, brought it to the new place, came here, prayed over our apartment, prayed over us. And there was like a couple emergencies I had at the hospital for myself. I had an infection in my C-section wound, and it was cellulitis, and I had no idea what it was. An abscess. It was growing. It was hard. I couldn't stay in the hospital with the kids, and the co-pastor came and had Heavenly and Jonathan spend the night over their house, and, you know, allowed me to recover the next day at home, and brought the kids over after church the next day. And they have just been fantastic. You know, I've been seeing their services virtually and attending in person, and shaking myself off like, you got to do the drive. It's like 24 minutes from here. It's fine. It's just, you know, sometimes it's like on Sundays when you have worked on all day on a Saturday and all through the week with the kids, it's like, I can't even get up. Like, my body is so tired. And then, of course, there was an incident where I experienced something that triggered my anxiety, and then that set me back to like continue to be in bed, not wanting to get up, unmotivated to go to church. And I just know that church is a beautiful place to congregate, to feel, you know, join hands with like-minded individuals who are trying to keep their spirit alive and their light shining and that kind of thing. And that's beautiful. You want to surround yourself. You get like an injection of of power and motivation spiritually when you're around a group of individuals that are really aiming to attain and to keep their spirits high, especially in the type of world that we're living in right now and the things that we're facing right now, which are full of uncertainty. So it's just beautiful. And so but I have so many favorite preachers and pastors on Sundays. If I'm home doing like virtual church, I'm listening to at least like 4 or 5 of them, because I take something away from all of them. I continue to feed my spirit all the time. And maybe it's in preparation for what God is doing here, for what I'm getting ready to open on July the 1st in Jacksonville, North Carolina, R&R Spa. The next thing was my neighbors that are literally across the street, across my door. I met them at Heavenly's birthday in April. We have been here since November in this apartment, and so for whatever